It was a usual day in the Rajya Sabha, which is also the upper house of the Indian Parliament, except that one of its members, Rajiv Pratap Rudy, had presented a bill which demanded an urgent need to look into the existing form of government. This was historic and revolutionary since the bill sought to implement a new system based on the US model of presidential democracy. And behind this is the man who envisioned this idea, Mr. J.B. Mehta.
मैं एक दिन पेडर रोड पर रास्ते में जा रहा था तो एक बड़ा सा बिलबोर्ड मुझे दिखाई दिया। आज से लगभग 4-5 महीने पहले तो मैं यहाँ से चला गया और मैंने अपने एक मित्र को भेजा कि उस बिलबोर्ड पर देख के आओ, कोई प्रेसिडेंशियल फॉर्म ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी के बारे में किसी व्यक्ति ने अभियान चला रखा है। तो इनके वेबसाइट का नंबर लिया, इनका सब कुछ लेकर मैंने इनसे संपर्क किया। And I was very curious to know who is this man, and hats off this gentleman. He's so passionate about it.
India is the largest democracy of the world, but it has failed to achieve the basic objectives laid in the Constitution. Neha Singh, an activist, is on a mission to search for an alternative which could be an ideal model for our democracy.
I found the whole idea of presidential democracy really exciting, but there were a lot of things that I didn't understand. I know that this form of democracy is going on in the USA for the last so many years, but I'm not sure, whether it's going to work here or no. But he has written books about it, and he seems like a really, really interesting person. So I took an appointment with him, and I've come to meet him today to understand more about presidential democracy. Mr. Mehta? Hi sir, I'm Neha. Hi sir. Nice to meet you too, sir. So thank you for meeting me. Actually, I went through your website and I read all about presidential democracy, and it really excited me.
Mr. Mehta is a well-known architect and consulting engineer holding a master's degree in civil engineering from USA. He has also worked with reputed consulting engineering firms in New York. When he returned from USA in 1965, he found that Indian democratic affair has worsened, which stirred him to look for an alternative model of democracy.
I first started advocating presidential democracy in our talks, from 1976-77 onwards to the people. And many of them were, feeling, yes, it seems to be a better alternative. Later on, I felt that if it is compiled in a book form, it will still have a more impact because people can read and then they can pass it on to their friends. And my first book, Presidential System, A Better Alternative, with a question mark. This was published in 1979. We received lots of good reviews of the book, including leading newspapers, magazines, and it also received very good response from intellectuals. Men like J.R.D. Tata personally wrote to me. He was very happy to see, what was his thoughts have been reflected in this book. Palkiwala wrote to me. So like that, and even some of the leading politicians also, they also appreciated it.
Since 1979, Mr. Mehta has written several books which provide an in-depth insight into the failings of the current political system. Quest for a Better Democracy is a critical analysis of the democratic system of US, UK, France, Germany, Australia, and various other liberal democracies of the world. This book was released by the Cabinet Minister C. Subramaniam. Several of his books have been translated in other languages.
Then in 1999, I came in contact with Chivanbhai Mehta. He was very much in favor of presidential democracy and he initiated a campaign. His reading was based on all his exposure to the active politics, whereas my exposure was through my deep analysis and study of the political system. And later on, he came to conclusion that unless there is a change of political system, we can never get out of the vicious cycle of corruption. So we launched National Forum for Presidential Democracy jointly. He was convener, I was co-convener.
Chimanbhai Mehta was the Union Cabinet Minister in the VP Singh government, but he resigned from the active politics to fight against corruption. And later in 2012, Mr. Jaswant Mehta registered a political party, Forum for Presidential Democracy. The sole manifesto of this party is bringing a truly democratic presidential system in India. But why did we not adopt this in 1947 when our country was freed from the colonial rule?
Our constitution framers, they were definitely influenced by the Britain, because most of the people who were into framing of Indian constitution, our earlier political leaders, whether it was Gandhi, Nehru or Patel, they had all done their study of law in Britain. And even the speeches of prominent persons like Munshi, was a leading person in framing of the constitution, had also acknowledged. We always looked upon Britain as a model, and that is what motivated us to go into parliamentary democracy. Now, coming to the presidential democracy, the earlier immigrants in USA, more than 80% were British themselves. But when they started analyzing the suitability of parliamentary model democracy, they did a very searching exercise that USA, they had accepted in principle, was going to be a nation of immigrants. And that is where they started thinking, what will happen when the immigration will be in the USA from France, from Germany, from Italy, from Spain, The French will be very proud of his heritage. He will never get along with English. And the fight in Europe was a continuous history of wars between these countries. The success of British parliamentary democracy was mainly because it is same language, same religion, and almost the same culture. But if they go for parliamentary democracy, the French will try to have their own party, the Germans will have their own party, the Italians will have their own party, the Spanish will have their own party, and they ended up that USA will never be able to have two-party system if they adopt the parliamentary system of democracy. They first decided that for a newly born country, the stability is the most important aspect. So they opted for a model where elections were held, universal adult franchise was accepted in principle, and after the elections, the person who was elected as head of the government was assured of a stable government.
Apart from providing a stable government, what are the other merits of presidential democracy?
Our cabinet is from the parliament. They are not the professionals or the experts in their field, and they are into the cabinet because of their hold on the party. If it is a coalition, every coalition partner, will try to get as many posts in the cabinet. The merit is absolutely a secondary criteria. What happened in Manmohan Singh's government? Raja, was nominated by DMK. Our Prime Minister, although he is the executive head of the government, unless he has a strong majority, which is like an exception, now, he has hardly any choice to select his cabinet. Now, coming to the presidential democracy, after the president is sworn in, he has been given choice to select the best possible talent in the cabinet. This is also what really appealed to me. Take any US cabinet. The cabinet consists of top professionals and intellectuals. They are not from the parliament. If he is from the parliament, he has to first resign. So by and large, the cabinet consists of professionals and intellectuals who are taken into the cabinet because of their professional background, because of their knowledge. And once into the cabinet, they are able to concentrate fully on their job.
My pleasure.
Neha is meeting another key member of the forum, Mr. O.P. Monga. Along with Mr. Mehta, he too has been fighting to bring presidential system in India.
Sir, why do you feel that we need to change the current political system that is in India right now? And how can you be sure that even if we do bring in the presidential democratic system and change the current system, it's going to be foolproof, that it's going to be any better than what we have?
When our country became independent in 1947, at that time I was very young. I've not seen that atmosphere or this thing. But in 1952, I was about 8 years old, and my father went to vote for the first time. 1952 was the first general election, and there was so much of festivity all around. There was so much of jubilation all around. My father went to vote. मेरी उंगली पकड़ के गए थे, वो डांस करते हुए गए थे सब लोग. तो हमने कहा ये क्या हो रहा है? I used to ask my father. इसे देखिए बेटा, अब और हमारा मुल्क अभी आज़ाद हो गया है. अभी हम अपनी सरकार बनाने जा रहे हैं. अंग्रेज़ों की सरकार चली गई है, उन्होंने हमको आज़ादी दे दी है. We are going to vote and elect our own leader, our own government. और ये जो नई गवर्नमेंट हम इलेक्ट करेंगे, पब्लिक की जो चॉइस से जो गवर्नमेंट आएगी, वो हमारी सब दुख दर्द, सब हमारी प्रॉब्लम्स को धीरे धीरे उसको ख़त्म कर देगी. बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली आवर लीडरशिप हैज़ नॉट डिलीवर्ड. Election after election, we have seen the system has been failing the masses,
After independence, Congress party ruled us for almost 2 decades under the strong leadership of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, Vallabhbhai Patel and Lal Bahadur Shastri. However, after their demise, the general election held in 1967 under the leadership of Mrs. Indira Gandhi showed a steep decline in support of Congress party nationwide. Eventually, the biggest national party of India was split and several smaller parties emerged.
We have so many parties which are based on language or caste or other regional considerations. For example, Maharashtra, we have a language-based Shiv Sena party. Tamil Nadu, there are 2 language-based parties, DMK and AIADMK. Then Telugu Desam. Then in Punjab, you have Akali Dal, which is almost a religion-based party. Then you have so many caste-based parties like Mayawati's BSP or Lalu Prasad's party, which is also almost a caste-based party. All these parties flourishing and subsisting because of the system. The problem that we have faced of unstable governments, the horse trading, it is just in this election that last about 25 years, first time we have got a BJP gaining a majority. Otherwise, in the last years, how many governments have been toppled? And all these coalition governments, how many parties were there? Bajpayee's coalition consisted of more than 20 parties. Even Manmohan Singh, both the coalition governments consisted of so many parties. When there are so many different parties and not a single party is able to get a majority, the smaller parties play kingmaker's role. Jayalalitha had only 21 members in the parliament and she had only got 3.5% vote. But even with this 3.5% vote, she was a kingmaker and she tried to dictate. And Bajpayee had almost had to dance to her tune. Ultimately, Bajpayee said enough is enough. His government was toppled. She withdrew the support.
There are several states like Tamil Nadu, Orissa and West Bengal where the presence of national parties are absolutely nil and they have no option but to seek support from these regional parties. The biggest drawback of a democratic system is the organized and collective support of the members of the parliament in both houses for the bill proposed by the ruling party. The recent controversial land acquisition bill by the NDA government is passed by the Lok Sabha due to the might of the majority.
In US system, there is no such word as whip. The whole legislation after being proposed is scrutinized by the concerned committee. If it is housing legislation, there is a housing committee, which will go into the details of the legislature, propose. They will call the experts, they will call the professionals, prepare the report. That report goes to all the members of parliament, at Senate or at lower level. And then every member has a full freedom to vote on the legislation, irrespective of party line. Now you just compare this with our system. A legislation is proposed. If it is a legislation proposed by ruling party, the ruling party members by and large are supposed to vote in its favor. The merit is secondary. Here the legislation is proposed, it is circulated and it is put to vote. There is no scrutiny done to the level it is required to be done, and then we suffer.
Corruption has reached scandalous proportions in India, and the whole movement against corruption that was started by Anna Hazare and his fight for the Lokpal bill, it got a lot of support from people as well as the media, from all across the country, in fact. And that was one of the reasons that the Aam Aadmi Party got elected in the Delhi elections. So, sir, what are your thoughts on our present political system and presidential democracy?
First of all, I do agree that it was the corruption movement, which really gave the platform to Aam Aadmi Party to build up their popular base. In fact, I'll say it was almost a bandwagon on which Kejriwal really got a ride. Now, coming to this comparison of presidential democracy and the whole Lokpal movement, we have to analyze that the corruption had certainly reached scandalous proportion. In fact, the general perception in the public is that to get an honest politician or to get an honest bureaucrat is almost like a rare thing in India today. Whereas in presidential democracy, you compare that. The people who get into the cabinet at the highest level, their background is fully vetted. The Senate confirms all the cabinet. And other side, the FBI also gives confidential report to the president. Media also participates. And see the process. November 1st week is when the president is elected. And his cabinet is sworn in after 2 months and 3 weeks. This is the period where all this vetting is done of all the top posts. Apart from cabinet, there are other posts also. All are vetted. It is this very people at the top which ultimately changes the moral of the people. If you have people at the top who are clean, who are honest, then over a period of time, this definitely percolates down the line. Still, I don't say that system will be perfect. Yes, there could be a corrupt minister, but then president has full power to sack him. Why will he continue a corrupt minister in his cabinet? Because his own reputation gets affected. He will straight away sack him, which is not possible in this country.